you're watching, learning, feeling, will you stay with us? Just one click to subscribe means everything.
Indo-Pak War 1947–48. Introduction. The Indo-Pak War of 1947–48, also known as the First Kashmir War, was the first armed conflict between the newly independent dominions of India and Pakistan. It began with the tribal invasion of Jammu and Kashmir in October 1947 and culminated in a United Nations-brokered ceasefire in January 1949. The campaign was complex, multidimensional, and logistically challenging, fought across the difficult terrain of J&K's valleys, mountains, rivers, and ridges at altitudes ranging from 1,600 to 12,000 feet. It laid the foundation for enduring strategic postures on both sides and resulted in the creation of the line of control. Chapter 1: Strategic Context. The princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, with a Muslim-majority population but ruled by a Hindu monarch, Maharaja Hari Singh, had not acceded to either India or Pakistan by August 15, 1947. Pakistan sought accession through political pressure, economic coercion, and eventually military force. India advocated legal accession and constitutional integration. On October 22, 1947, Pakistan launched Operation Gulmarg, mobilizing approximately 5,000 to 7,000 tribal Lashkars, primarily Afridis, Masids, and other Pashtun tribesmen, along with elements of Pakistan Army regulars in plain clothes and former British officers operating covertly. The aim was clear: seize Srinagar, enforce political control over the valley, and force accession to Pakistan. Chapter 2: The Invasion Axis of Advance. The main axis of advance for the raiders was Abbottabad, Muzaffarabad, Damal, Uri, Baramulla, Srinagar. The state forces, Jammu and Kashmir Army under Brigadier Rajinder Singh, VM, fought a delaying action from 22 to 26 October, particularly at Uri and Mahura, attempting to hold the Jhelum Valley Road, JVR. Key points: Mahura Power Station, a critical asset, was overrun. Baramulla fell on October 26, 1947 after widespread looting and atrocities. The raiders were within 48 kilometers of Srinagar by the evening of October 26. In parallel, enemy columns threatened Poonch, Mirpur, and Muzaffarabad sectors. Chapter 3: Accession and Airlift Operations. Faced with collapse, Maharaja Hari Singh signed the instrument of accession on October 26, 1947. The government of India accepted it conditionally, authorizing immediate military intervention. October 27, 1947 marked the first major Indian military airlift. Key features: Dakota aircraft of No. 12 Squadron IF conducted continuous sorties from Palam to Srinagar airfield, inserting elements of one SIKH under Lieutenant Kal Ranjit Rai. Despite heavy rain and no ground reconnaissance, 30 Dakotas landed within 24 hours. Lieutenant Kal Rai advanced towards Baramulla but was killed in action while delaying the enemy at Patan on October 27. This airhead at Srinagar airfield became the fulcrum of further operations. Chapter 4: Battle of Badgam and Defense of Srinagar. On November 3, 1947, SIKH for KUMAON under Major Somnath Sharma was deployed to Badgam village, 11 kilometers west of Srinagar, to block enemy ingress from Gulmarg. Outnumbered 1:7, Major Sharma's company inflicted over 200 enemy casualties, holding ground till the last man. He was posthumously awarded the first Param Veer Chakra. This action prevented a potential collapse of the Srinagar airfield, enabling continued induction of 161 Infantry Brigade under Brig L.P. Sen. Additional battalions deployed by mid-November included 1 Patiala, later 15 Punjab, 2 Dogra, 1 KUMAON, 5 Para, elements of 7 cavalry armored cars. Chapter 5: Baramulla, Uri and Restoring the Jhelum Axis. Indian forces pushed west along the Jhelum Valley Road. Baramulla was recaptured on November 8, 1947. Uri was secured on November 13 after an encounter involving both infantry and light armored elements. Terrain considerations: road width, 8 to 12 feet, often single lane. Altitude, 5,000 feet. Affected by snowfall from mid-November. Bridges. Multiple log bridges, often mined or destroyed by retreating forces. River crossings at Jhelum were vulnerable choke points. Despite adverse weather and lack of winter clothing, Indian troops stabilized the valley front by late November 1947. Chapter 6: Defense and Relief of Poonch. While Srinagar was stabilized, the situation in Poonch sector deteriorated rapidly. By November 1947, Poonch garrison held by 6 Raj RIF, 1 KUMAON, and militia units was encircled. Approximate 40,000 Hindu and Sikh refugees had taken shelter. Daily sorties dropped food, ammo, and medical stores. Casualty evacuation by air marked the first combat casevac operations post-independence. The relief of Poonch would take nearly a year, but this early defense denied the enemy a major urban center, prevented mass civilian massacre, tied down over 2,000 to 3,000 raiders, aiding valley operations. Chapter 7: Fall of Jangir and Fight for Rajouri. On December 24, 1947, Jangir was overrun by raiders, threatening the Rajouri-Nowshera-Poonch axis. Indian response: 50 Para Brigade under Brig Mohammed Usman led counterops. Terrain: rugged hill tracks, ravines, limited metalled roads. Fire support: limited artillery due to mobility issues. Jangir was retaken on February 18, 1948. Simultaneously, Rajouri, an isolated garrison, was reached by 19 Infantry Brigade on April 12, 1948. Roads from Nowshera to Rajouri were created in 11 days, including culvert construction and snow clearance under fire. This re-established Indian control over the southern communication axis. Chapter 8: North Kashmir. Gurez, Tithwal, and Kargil axes. The enemy attempted to exploit passes from the northwest. Burzil Pass, Rajani Pass, and Tragbal Gurez axis. Indian deployments: 2 4th Gorkha Rifles and 1 Madras moved to Gurez in June 1948. Tithwal was captured in May 1948, lost in June, and retaken in October by 163 Infantry Brigade. The Kargil-Leh axis, meanwhile, remained tenuous to be addressed in later operations. Operational challenges analysis so far. 1. Command and Control HQ Jammu and Kashmir Forces was converted into 161 Infantry Brigade, later reinforced by 19 and 50 Para Brigades. 2. Logistics. Entire initial induction was by air, roads opened much later. All reinforcement, evacuation, and supply was weather-dependent. No winter warfare gear or standardized mountain clothing. 3. Maps and reconnaissance, limited to British-era survey of India maps. No accurate topographical intelligence in early stages. 4. Medical evacuation, air-based casevac via Dakotas, first of its kind in Indian Army history. Indo-Pak War 1947-48. Chapter 9: Zojila Dras, Kargil-Leh operations. By mid-1948, Pakistan began supporting large-scale infiltration into the Ladakh region, threatening Indian control over the Dras, Kargil-Leh axis, which served as the only land access to Ladakh. Strategic importance. Control over Zojila Pass, elevation 11, 500 feet, was crucial to defending Ladakh. The Srinagar, Zojila, Dras, Kargil-Leh road was the only motorable route to Leh. Loss of this axis would have severed Ladakh from the rest of India. Operation Bison Zojila recapture. By May 1948, Pakistan-supported raiders had occupied Zojila, reaching Madayen and Kargil. Indian response was planned under Operation Bison, a sub-operation under Operation Duck, led by 161 Infantry Brigade under Brig L. Pisan, and later Maj Gen Ks Thamaya, GOC 19 Division. Key operational features. October 23, 1948. Surprise assault launched with armored elements of 7 cavalry, M3 Stuart tanks, airlifted to Baltal and manually dragged up through the Zojila Pass, a feat considered unprecedented in high-altitude warfare. Use of bulldozers, BRO equivalent teams, then under the Army cleared mule tracks for tanks. The enemy, expecting no armor in that altitude and weather, was routed. By November 1, 1948, Zojila was recaptured. This re-established the route to Dras and later Kargil. Chapter 10: Kargil and Leh secured. Dras was secured by November 3, 1948. Kargil fell on November 12 after coordinated attacks by 77 Para Brigade. The final thrust toward Leh was supported by O. Airlift of men and stores to Leh from Srinagar and Chandigarh. O. Use of Dakotas and C-47 aircraft by No. 12 and No. 31 Squadron IF. O. Road opening from Kargil to Leh via Lamayuru. Leh had already been reinforced in May 1948 by a two-company column of 2 DOGRA led by Major Preeti Chand, who marched from Manali to Leh in 24 days, covering 450 kilometers over mountain passes. Without motor transport, their arrival on June 5, 1948 preempted enemy ingress and stabilized Ladakh. Chapter 11, Air Operations and Strategic Airlift. The Indian Air Force played a pivotal role in the 1947-48 war. Key contributions included 1. Troop airlifts. Over 1,000 sorties flown in first 3 months alone. Full brigades airlifted into Srinagar, Poonch, Leh. 2. Air maintenance. Poonch garrison supplied exclusively by air for over 1 year. Average daily tonnage reached 10 to 15 tons. Aircraft used: Dakotas, C-47s, and modified civilian aircraft under IF control. 3. CAS and interdiction. Close air support, CAS, limited due to poor maps, enemy camouflage, and airspace control issues. Armed Dakotas and Spitfires were used in target suppression roles over Tithwal and Poonch. Challenges: airfields like Srinagar and Leh lacked concrete runways. No navigation aids, no radar guidance, no night flying. Still, this strategic airlift was unprecedented and became a model for future mountain warfare support. Chapter 12, Final Operations and Ceasefire. Objectives by late 1948. Clear enemy from Poonch Bulge, Tithwal, and North Jangar sector. Secure entire Leh, Kargil, Zojila axis. Retake Damal and Muzaffarabad. Final pushes. Poonch link-up achieved on November 21, 1948 by 5 and 19 infantry brigades under 93 Infantry Brigade HQ. Tithwal offensive resumed in October 1948, with gains made across Kashmir River but limited by snow. Damal operation was being prepared by 161 Brigade, but political orders preempted execution. Chapter 13, On Intervention and Ceasefire. In December 1947, India referred the J&K issue to the United Nations under Article 35 of the UN Charter. Pakistan initially denied involvement, then admitted moral support to tribal forces. UN responses. UNSC Resolution 47, April 21, 1948 called for ceasefire, Pakistani withdrawal, and plebiscite under UN control. Ceasefire declared on January 1, 1949 at 2,359 hours. By ceasefire, India held 84,000 sq km of J&K territory, including the Valley, Jammu, Ladakh. Pakistan held 33,000 sq km, today's Pak and northern areas. No plebiscite was held due to preconditions, Pakistani withdrawal, not being met. The ceasefire line, CFL, demarcated by the Karachi Agreement, July 1949, became the line of control, lock, post, 1972. Chapter 14, Lessons Learned. 1. Strategic clarity matters. Delayed accession created operational ambiguity. Once accession occurred, India acted decisively. 2. Air mobility as a force multiplier. Timely airlift of 1 SIKH saved Srinagar. Air supply kept Poonch and Leh operational. 3. Importance of terrain familiarity. Lack of winter gear, maps, and high-altitude experience handicapped troops. Adaptability and innovation, e.g., tank induction at Zojila, compensated. 4. Logistics wins wars. Mountain roads, mule supply chains, airdrops, and road construction proved critical. LEH column of 2 DOGRA became a case study in light infantry mobility. 5. Civil-military synergy. Political decision, accession, unlocked military response. However, political halt of offensive in December 1948 prevented complete recovery of J&K. 6. Leadership at all levels. Tactical initiative shown by company and battalion commanders. Strategic flexibility demonstrated by senior officers like Thamaya, Cariappa, and Brig Elpison. Closing remarks. The First Indo-Pak War was a baptism by fire for the Indian Army. With no defined national doctrine, limited equipment, and minimal preparation for high-altitude warfare, the Army demonstrated professionalism, adaptability, and courage in defense of national integrity. The line of control born from this war has since become a permanent feature of Indian military planning. But more importantly, this conflict established the Indian Army's ability to operate jointly, mobilize rapidly, and hold ground in terrain that few armies in the world would willingly enter.
You're watching, learning, feeling. Will you stay with us? Just one click to subscribe means everything.